Hello, Zandra and Safia. I'm Alison Jane Reid from Ethical Hedonist magazine, and we're here at this fabulous People Tree fashion event tonight, Happy Women, to launch your collection in collaboration with People Tree. Now, you're known as the princess of punk fashion. Are you now going to be the princess of sustainable fashion?
Be quite nice, wouldn't it? I mean,
Why
it's
not?
very nice to wear. I mean, punk could still be sustainable because you can wear things that still have their holes in it.
Well,
So
yes, and you could
just as
recycle.
easily,
Yeah, you could recycle. Yeah.
and do things. But in fact, this is all, you know, this cotton's got such a fabulous feel. It's quite unbelievable.
Do you feel that it's got a sort of soft, silky handle? I think
It really
organic
has,
cotton really
yes.
does feel
It really
different.
does feel different. It's got a thickness about it that's rather fabulous.
And a sort of satiny sheen.
yes,
I think.
yes.
So tell me about meeting People Tree and getting to the stage where you're now in your second collaborative collection.
It's been
with
very
People Tree.
exciting. I mean, first of all, working with our first collection, which we did in a rush, but then I was lucky enough to have the experience of going all around the cotton growers in Gujarat and things like that, which meant that it really did give you realise the experience, and then you suddenly start thinking, oh, it does feel a lot different. It does feel great.
What was that trip out to India like with Safia? Where did you go? And how did it differ from how you have actually produced your clothes for the past 40 years? Well, I know you work in a very artisan way. You know,
Yes,
I've seen your atelier. It's incredible.
Yes.
You are a true artisan.
So it tends to be, mine's much smaller scale. So it's great that when it gets to bigger scale to know that someone like Safia doesn't compromise on the whole thing.
So why did you want to work with Safia? Because I understand that you approached People Tree to do a collaboration through your agent.
We thought they did a lovely product. I think it's very important now to think of sustainability in the future. I don't have any children, but I think it's something you should think about, what you're taking out of the planet, and if you're going to wear things a bit longer, and if you're going to be a bit more careful with them and treasure them, because when you actually see that what has to go into growing plants and making things work regardless of what the weather or nature does, you can see how we've got to manage to sustain things and keep going.
The fashion is by its nature in a constant state of flux, isn't it? We're always encouraged to buy into the new trends. You know, can fashion be sustainable in that way?
I think that was where there was such a synergy and a shared set of values and ethos, because I think we both agree, you know, that what really we should be doing is actually consuming less fashion and consuming more cleverly. You know,
Yeah,
buying things to keep and treasure, which you would do
hoping that
with
you're going to keep and treasure them, and then
Rose.
if you do get a bit fed up with them, maybe you fold them up and get them out again and rethink them. I mean, I think it's terrible that you've got to say every 6 months, that's it. I find
When you
it
think
quite...
of the work that goes into
Oh,
a garment,
I mean,
you know,
I
the
don't-
love, it's an
I
appalling
don't
concept,
have
isn't it?
ideas to just throw away like that.
Let's have a look at your trip to India. So where are you here,
Oh,
Sandra?
that's in the cotton fields, and them showing us how bad and late the harvest had been, and then showing me all about it. I must say, when I see this, I really do look like a funny aged peasant, because they were
With pink hair.
they were so welcoming to us, and they gave us all these gifts as we arrived, and little scarves. And I was the only one that left my scarf on, because I thought, well, it looks a bit grateful. But then when I took the photographs, I look like the old granny being shown round
Let's show the more glamorous picture. There's a wonderful picture here, which I'd love everyone to see. To me, this is quintessential Zandra Rose.
sketching.
Yeah, that's wonderful to have. So, are you sketching in a field, in
I
an
was
organic cotton
sketching.
field?
That one isn't in the organic cotton field. That one, I think, is drawing a rather nice black Ganesh when we got down to the coastline, and we were then seeing the factory where the clothes were going to be made. And so this is actually about, probably about 5 o'clock in the morning, when it was just getting light.
The colours are absolutely wonderful, aren't they? It's so vibrant. Did you get a lot of inspiration for your collection when you were out in India with
I haven't had
Safia?
time
Did it
even
inspire
to
you?
absorb the inspiration since then, and what's been fabulous is the actual inspiration with this collection, which is really fabulous and almost re-inspirational to me. We look back to the work that I did in the 60s, so that we look back to the designs that I did when I just left Royal College, with the pop stars,
I
and the
absolutely
bright
love the
colours,
star dress.
and then
I could imagine Twiggy wearing it.
that's yes. I think she'd look lovely in it.
She'd still look
especially
lovely in it.
with the collar.
Yes,
Yeah.
the collar just,
looked
it's so
divine.
cute. Yeah.
And this was the little Mr. Man that was posted through the doors for either he was a rainbow Omo man or a rainbow Daz man.
So
and
this is your
all-
Dazman print.
Yes, it was, and the print, and then downstairs in the museum we've even got some more of my 60s prints with medals and the influence of pop art. So it was just fabulous that we looked to that and then ended up doing this print.
Now I hear this has gone down a storm in Japan. You went on a trip
We had a
to
fabulous
Japan.
time in
Well,
Japan.
the Japanese just love British
it
fashion
was-
talent.
And I think that they're very aware of quality over mass production, don't you
Yes,
think?
yeah.
Yeah, I think they love British design.
Yes, so that was really, it's really nice to find, I mean, the overwhelming interest in trying to look after the planet. I mean, Japan, you're so aware that people live so economically
Really?
in smaller spaces. It's very impressive.
So there are so many
Yeah.
Japanese.
Yes. Their streets are like just that sort of like, what, 2 car widths smaller, and everything's that bit smaller, but everything works just as well, and you don't need more.
I think everyone was so excited about someone who feels as passionately as, as the artisans and the farmers in really perpetuating this craft, and to meet Sandra and just realise the integrity with which she designs and then wants to take everything back, to using organic cotton and through a fair trade supply chain without being put off, because it would be very easy to say, well, we can't quite do that drape or thinness of fabric, forget it.
Yeah.
But I think our Japanese team, all of the journalists that came to the event, they were really, really excited,
Yes.
weren't they, and impressed that, right through the collaboration, you'd come out to the field, you were, really, really happy to work with something that was 100%
Yes,
fair
but
trade.
everyone was very welcoming, and everyone wanted to tell us how they were participating in making this work, and then show us their children that were going to the school that had been worked out, because they're trying to do things, much more ethically.
Well, I love the idea that we could even know who made your dress, Sandra. Because to me, I've always wanted to buy clothes that I treasure.
Yes.
I buy the best I can possibly afford. Usually, in sample sales, having been a fashion journalist my whole career, I would buy them very carefully and treasure them, and you do put them away and bring them out again,
Yeah.
and then it's exciting.
I think it's exciting, and I don't think it should always be next. I really don't, because I find the effort of doing them and thinking about things is more than that, more than that.
Well, what has it meant to you, Safia, to work with an iconic British designer like Sandra? I'm thinking, I've known you a long time, and we did that amazing shoot with Sienna Miller, which I think was 2005 now. I put Sienna Miller in People Tree, and we had 800 phone calls at You magazine on the Monday morning. It had an enormous impact.
It was an incredible collaboration.
Yeah.
And I think, to work with somebody like Sandra, who's, takes fashion very, very seriously and good design very seriously, but, without question would love to do everything in a completely ethical way, given the opportunity.
Yes.
You've been really, really great to travel with, really great to learn with. And I think, we've been really inspired. I mean, the energy with which you work and you
Yes,
design is
I think it's been
marvellous.
co-inspirational.
The other thing we should say is, can we say actually how much a Sandra Rhodes at People Tree is going to cost? Because it's going to be a little bit more affordable than buying a couture piece from your main
Exactly.
line. So we want to inspire fashion students and lovers of fashion
I think it
to
is
invest
very
Yes.
in a
accessible
in a Sandra Rhodes at People Tree.
Yes.
That's so exciting, you know, that your iconic designs
Yes.
are going to be more accessible. And an organic cotton. I think that's really exciting.
But it's
had no idea
it's
how
so
far you would
wearable
come.
and soft, you know, it really is.
Organic cotton is just gorgeous.
You know.
So I want to ask you, I recently interviewed Brian May of
yes.
Queen, did a big interview with him, and he was saying how you designed a lot of
their early
pieces for
outfits.
Freddie, for their early outfits, and I've seen the footage from one of
some
their
of those shows.
wonderful concerts. Did you enjoy doing that?
It was fun to do. I really enjoyed doing it at the time. You know,
What was it like to work with Freddie? Because he had this extraordinary stage persona.
They both came round after work, and I had this funny little workroom. And so I waited till all the girls had gone, and then I said, oh, you can try anything on and then see how you feel. So it was Freddie sort of like with his arms out, walking around the room, seeing how he felt, and Brian trying things on. Brian had his outfit stolen, did he tell you?
He didn't tell me that. He
made
said,
him
I
these-
didn't realise I was so fashionable, Alison. I love the outfit where you did pleated sleeves for
He
him.
had 3 of those because they got stolen.
I'll have to ask him about
I
that.
know.
Well,
Had to
I'm not
redo them.
surprised. Who wouldn't want to
But
stickle a
isn't he?
Sandra Rhodes?
He's such a lovely guy, isn't
he's
he?
really lovely
Really
guy.
nice.
Yeah, he's
But I mean, I didn't get to know them at the time. I just made the outfits and saw a couple of concerts. But really what happened is that when Nick Rock followed the band around and then did those iconic photographs, I then got people asking me about Queen.
right.
Not at the time that they were done.
No, because I guess it was still really early, wasn't it? The footage I've seen. That,
It was really
they're really
early,
in their
and they
rock
played for teeny boppers.
Yes.
And I went to a concert at, I think it was Earl's Court, and it was absolutely packed, but they were all, at that time, they were at least 15 years younger than me. They were all little, but it was packed. And they really made their name all the way across Europe and everything, and then built it up really once they started to get into that orchestral stuff.
Yes, operatic.
Yes, which I think is fantastic.
Concerts. Oh, they were extraordinary. I wanted to ask you, what was it like to dress Elizabeth Taylor, to make clothes for Elizabeth? She is one of the great icons that you made.
I only met her late in her life when I did a wedding and she spoke to me, but I've got photographs. She must have bought them or got them at Neiman Marcus. I didn't actually fit her.
Have you fitted people like Helen Mirren? Because I know she's a fan.
Helen Mirren was very nice when I fitted her.
Yeah, she's a big fan of your clothes. She said they were the perfect dressing up dresses.
Right. Well, I fitted her.
Who would you like to dress amongst the young film stars or
At
pop
the time,
princesses?
I'd love to have dressed that woman that I think should have got the Oscar for Frida Kahlo. I think said she wore this dreadful Valentino. It looked dreadful. And I
Oh,
could have
the
made
South
her look
American
fabulous.
actress. She's
I've
wonderful.
forgotten her name. Well, yes,
Salma Hayek.
Hayek.
Right.
And
Okay.
she wore this Valentino
Salma
that looked
Hayek.
terrible.
And you would like to have dressed
I'd
her.
have liked to have dressed her. I could have done a good job on her.
Now, I want to ask about your famous punk collection, finally. The pink... Oh, well,
Pink and black.
You're so dismissive. The pink and black with the safety pins
Right.
and the studs,
I
which is
still
why
feel
you're known
very
as the
proud.
punk princess.
I know. I mean, I love doing that collection, and they featured it at the Met, which was very nice.
You wrote a blog about going to the
Yes,
Met.
I wrote a blog about going to the Met.
Because someone else there's a rival for the sort of queen of punk.
What, Vivian?
Vivian, yes.
Well,
But
she's
I think
a
you were
different kind of
first.
queen. Well, no, but we were both. I always think
I mean,
it's like the invention of electricity. You've got Edison and Swan.
That's a nice
And
way
they
of
both
putting it.
do different things. Mine was sort of like she's always poo-pooed my version anyway.
Well, it's fabulous. And do you think we might see it recreated, from the archive
nice.
for People
I mean,
Tree
I might,
in
yes.
organic cotton?
could
Wouldn't
do
that
so,
be
yes.
extraordinary?
We could do that'd be a lovely idea.
And
Yes,
his
maybe we will.
Newport.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Zandra Rhodes and Safia
Thank you
Mini.
for being so focused as the party goes on.
Well, that's years of journalism, and you not killing me on Shepherd's Bush roundabout. Do you remember that? When you fell asleep? It was so fun. Well, it was terrifying, Sandra. I was shaking you. You fell asleep.
They don't trust me a lot of the time, you know.